pressing hard to get these projects done, so apologies for not filming.
Got lots and lots to do, tons of welding to do.
Yeah.
You can see it's a pretty big wreck over here on the little boat. Been just kind of processing this aluminum. This sheet right here is for our fuel tanks. So we gotta get those all laid out and cut and welded back up.
Yeah. So we're cutting out our ends of our hydraulic and fuel tank to replate the ends.
Yeah, this worked out pretty good. Not sure if you can see the line, but this is the main angle right here, and then it slopes in a little bit more at the bottom. It just so happens that this works out to be the exact same distance on both, so I'm able to get 2 pieces out of the width of the sheet. Originally we had planned to pull one of the bottoms out of the other remaining piece of this, but we weren't sure if we were going to have that piece bent or not and then install it. It turns out we couldn't get it down there in one big piece like that, so we just decided that we'd cut the bottom out and then 2 short legs on each side to replace the damaged stuff on the sides of the tank. So these are the 2 end pieces, so this worked out really good. There won't be hardly any wastage. Got about a 1/2 inch of material on each side extra that will need to be trimmed, but yeah, almost 0 waste, so that's always good. I always hate having a bunch of like little weird angle pieces, and so this would have been a fairly big chunk of just kind of waste otherwise. Maybe use it somewhere eventually.
Yeah, maybe like some gusset material or something like that, but
yeah,
it's pretty awkward chunks to use.
Yeah, so this will be really nice. We'll get these 2 end pieces out of it, and then gotta do a little tricky maneuver to get these down in the engine room. I guess that'll be coming here in a few minutes. We got a plan for that. I think I might have to have you slide that forward underneath a little bit more, Matt.
Yeah, sure. That's good.
Shot it in. So I think we're gonna have a little extra material here. I ordered more than we needed for this job just because I didn't want to have to worry about being short and then getting some locally here. So kind of nice to have a second boat.
That's for sure.
Work area.
And process out here and kind of keep our work area inside our dry, warm space cleared up.
Yeah.
These plates are pretty big, as you can tell.
Bad enough as it is, as far as the mess goes, but yeah, it's not terribly heavy, but it's just extremely awkward.
Don't matter.
Sun gonna mess up your shot?
Nah, that's good.
Yep. All right. Well, pretty archaic, but fast and easy, and that's all we need right now. These are going to go down there. We'll get them up next to the tank, and then we'll scribe it, and that way we can get a corner weld, corner fillet weld. We're not overlapping or insetting or anything like that. We're going to go corner to corner, leave a nice nice corner to fill with weld. So we'll need to scribe these anyways and then retrim them. So this is just kind of rough cut. And we'll get set up next door to cut them cleaner and straight. Cool.
All right, well, we'll bring you guys back once we enact our plan for getting these down to the engine room.
Yeah, we got a bit of dilemma there, and that is that these do not fit through our door. So,
What's this hatch? Oh, look at that.
whoa.
Access to the engine room. So, our dilemma, as mentioned, is getting this plate down into the engine room, and we're unable to slip it down the forecastle which goes into the engine room. So we need to find an alternate route for our plate. So our beams down for the flooring here just happen to have enough room between them in order to cut a slice and provide us an access slit, I guess.
Yeah. As luck would have it, this is the only spot that's actually long enough. 40 inches long is the slit that we need to make to slot those through. And it just kind of happens that this is the only spot that is not only clear underneath in the engine room, but that is also long enough, because you can see in here it's all pretty short. Maybe it would fit right there, but I don't think so. Up there we got a bunch of electrical and junk in the way, so yeah. So as luck would have it, this is what we're gonna do. Now it sounds a little extreme, but what's our other choice?
Our other choice, I guess, would be multiple pieces of plate.
Yeah, so 2 pieces every end on the tank, and we've got to replace at least 2, but maybe 3 or maybe 4 ends. Definitely 2 ends and maybe half of the hydraulic one. Not sure what I'm going to do there yet. It may be easier just to replace the whole end. And so you end up with a lot of pieces. That's a lot of extra work.
That's a lot of weld.
This we're just going to cut a little 1/4 inch slit in this plywood right here. When we're done, we'll throw a chunk of wood underneath and screw it back in, and no one's ever going to know the difference.
Yeah, it's
ain't gonna hurt nothing.
Structural, so it's perfectly fine. We have, I think, 12-inch on center, 2x6 beams. 4x6 beams. 4x6 or 4x4s. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's here, so. Grossly overframed underneath our feet, and so this is not gonna hurt us structurally at all. And yeah, it's gonna work out real good. And this access hatch here was actually the fill for the hydraulic tank. Yes, it was. So that was for the small hydraulic tank that actually supplied everything, the deck and the steering. Now that tank is going to move over here about where Matt's foot is, and then our new hydraulic tank will be over yonder. And so this is going to work out good. I think we can drop our torch and our MIG gun, our TIG torch and our MIG gun through this hole, which is going to save us from dragging all of our equipment down there into the engine room. Just thinking about that. That's actually pretty handy too. Yeah, because otherwise we'd have to drag the argon bottle down there, the water cooler for the TIG torch, and the welder itself, and the same thing with this big 304 here. So all of that stuff can just stay up here, and we can squeeze our TIG torch and everything through there, and weld away. So that should work out real good, I think. Let's do it. Let's do it. Want a big skill saw? Yeah, I think the skill saw is probably the way to go, huh?
Yeah. Where are we cutting exactly?
I don't think it really matters. Just kind of wherever. You can only get so close to that with the skill saw, of course. So
out here somewhere.
Yeah, but if we did hug over there a bit, well, same thing. We could finish it with the jigsaw, which I guess we should anyways, because of the thickness. But we can only get so far with the jigsaw also, which is about right there. So yeah, I'd say like right in there somewhere.
Okay. And the space out from the bulkhead is enough there. Plenty, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, so we need I'd say 40 inches. Well, it was either this or, like I say, a bunch of multiple pieces for each end, 2 for each end, which is just a lot of extra work.
This is pretty aligned with the wall.
Assuming that's aligned with the wall. It's awful crooked on that seam, but why is that?
Hard telling.
There
you could just line up the seam.
Yeah, there you go. That looks pretty good. I don't think it's going to matter much at the end of the day.
Right.
Oh!
You lifted it up there.
I tried to help you, and all I did was slide it with my foot.
Had one job. All right. Grab a skill saw here. Rip.
How many screws are we gonna hit?
Screws or nails?
Well, yes, or a combination of both. Do we put on our old rotten blade, or? It's a nice brand new blade for cutting aluminum.
Right. Yeah, we could probably throw the old one on there.
If you put the older one on there, you won't hit any screws or nails.
Yeah.
If you leave the new one on there, you'll hit lots of them.
True.
Okay, like we were saying, there's not really very many spots that we could do this. The galley table's up there. Pretty much every spot has got something going on here. Mostly short space in between, but the area right here where it goes over to the day bunk just happens to be long enough, so we can put a little slice in the floor and drop our end pieces right through here. It's nice and open, this area, so that couldn't work out much better. Go for it.
Don't know if you can see anything. It'll be upside down.
I'm gonna put my mask on, that smells.
Yeah, so the top is 40 inches over, 38 down, roughly. So we're just cutting it to 40 inches. Allow us to drop that in here, then I can get over next to the tank, I can scribe it. This one will actually pull out and we can maneuver it around the back side of the engine right here over to this side where I can work on it. And then that gives us the space to work on what will be the new fuel tank. It needs a new bottom, new end. It'll be tight, it'll work though, just enough room.
All right, now just a little finish up with the jigsaw. Square up the ends a little bit. Get that little sliver out of there. Cut through the rest of this. It's just kind of a ring that that plug sat in our little tank for our steering, hydraulics, and well, the hydraulics in general used to be here, and that's where the fill was. That's this little guy sitting over here. So he is going to end up over here on this wall in here somewhere. That'll allow us to replumb the lines and get them, bring them, kind of sweep them over here, right above the engine, up onto the wall, clean up this whole area, get these hoses away from this exhaust. We'll just elbow them off here and come over here somehow. It'll look good when we're done. Get all that kind of cleaned up, and all that stuff was just kind of like right in here in a big mess. Yeah. Does it fit?
Are we ready?
Yeah, go ahead and test fit it.
All right.
Hopefully you can swing it around the corner or we got problems. I didn't actually check that. I think there's room though. Whatever you do, just don't drop it. Did you put a clamp on it?
No.
Oh. Just gonna do it by hand. I'm not actually ready to receive it down here, but you can just like, we can pretend. All right, here we go, guys. Look at that. Yeah. That'll work, huh?
Yeah.
I really wasn't looking forward to having 6 little end pieces that needed to be, well, 2 for each side that needed to be cut and welded together and then fit into place. And so that solved that problem right there. It's a lot easier just to make one little cut that took 5 minutes than it would weld all these together and then have a seam on every end of the tank, and
yeah,
it's just so much more work.
And at the end of the day, this floor like doesn't even flex under my weight anyways, so.
Nope. We'll throw a piece of plywood on there and stick something back in that crack, and no one is ever going to be the wiser.
Yep, be covered up by rug anyways.
That's right. Yeah.
So, yeah, that went good.
Yep, so next thing is to drag those tanks out. This is our new old hydraulic tank. Looks like we'll have 2 new sides, a new bottom. Rest of it we just reused from the port side tank that got split into 2/3 fuel, 1/3 hydraulic tank. Things are going pretty good. It's a pretty challenging space, as you can see. There's not much room to maneuver any of this stuff, but we were able to get these plates in full size. But that saved us a ton of work, thankfully, because it's hard enough as it is without having to try and 2-piece this stuff. So yeah, you can see there's not a whole lot of room in here, but there's just enough to get the work done. So I should have this about finished up today, and then I'll start on the other side. We already have the end cut off it because we split the tank, and the bottom's already off of it, so all I have to do is really just clean up the edges, get them as even as I can. Just helps fit up and welding easier, and then we'll get going on that. But yeah, it's turning out good. It's welding up really nice. I'm TIG welding all of this stuff for a couple of different reasons. Number one, There's almost zero chance of having any porosity issues, any holes in here. You can see them as you're welding your puddle. You'll see if you have a little hole or a little pinhole or anything like that. Your starts and stops are easy. You don't have to clean them up. You don't have to worry about towing in those welds good right there. And so it's really the way to go down here. Another reason is smoke. MIG welding is very, very smoky, and it would fill the space with smoke almost instantly. I guess I could run our supplied air hose down here so I had good air, but it still makes it pretty challenging when it's like that. And then the other reason too is it does throw slag and spatter everywhere, and being in this confined space like that, it's a concern.
Yeah, especially being that's the engine room and there's probably oil here and there.
This is a safe way to go, and it's actually a lot more enjoyable anyways. It's a little bit slower, but the results are worth it.
I wonder how much slower it is after you consider you'd have to check each of your starts and stops.
That's what I was gonna say. In the big scheme of things, if anyone's ever done tanks and MIG welded it, you know, I know there's really good processes for MIG welding, and if you do it professionally, you probably don't have those issues. But for people that don't do it on a daily basis, your stops and starts are always going to be leak points, and to go back through and track all those down with hot soapy water or just soapy water, and then you know, fix those leaks, it's really, really time consuming. And so this is a good way to go here. So anyways, yeah, it's coming along good. I had a couple of holes that I plugged already that used to be the top of the tank. I have to put a port in for the return line, return to tank for the hydraulic hose, and then of course the suction will be down here. So still need to do that, but I'm just working on getting this plate squared up and tacked in place right now.
Yeah,
so yeah,
coming along good.
Pretty hard to get much footage of this work down here, honestly. It's just kind of a lot of climbing around for me. Luckily, I've got some access through the back of the engine here. I can sneak through there. I can kind of climb through this track. All in all, it's just it's a lot of moving around and a lot of squirming around for me, so it's pretty hard to get any footage. And then of course welding too, you can't really see much anyways, so we'll just have to give you an update now and then, I guess, and hopefully this all goes smoothly, and I'll get this one done and then we'll work on this port side.
Dad's using these pipe clamps to pinch this side together and give him this reveal right here. This half of the tank is kind of springing up, so he was able to push it down, or actually I guess the side plate was high.
Yeah.
So using a little piece of aluminum, he pushed it down.
The center is maybe a little bit low right now, but I'll get my corner tacked in here. What we're looking for is just a good it's almost edge to edge on the inside, so we're getting essentially full penetration on these welds. If you look on the other side, you can see a fair bit of a weld where it came through, and that's good. This just gives you two really nice clean surfaces to work with, and you get a really good fillet weld in there, nice and strong. That was really awkward.
Positioning wise?
Yeah, like backwards. That's okay, I just need a good tack right there. Yeah, that's what I really love about TIG welding is, you know, when you come in here, you're puddling off your old weld where you stop and you start your puddle right there, so you never have that kind of cold start that you do with MIG welding. Once your material's hot MIG welding, you can tie those ends in pretty good, but when you get stuff positioned and you're tacking everything, it's all cooled off by the time you get back to it. And it's a lot harder to make things watertight, at least for me.
So do you like...
I know that there's guys out there that are really good at it, and the machines are better now too, like Pulse MIG is much better than our machine. It's old. It's a good one, but it's old. When you're TIG welding also is that you don't end up with welds like this. I'm sure that this was probably done with a MIG gun, and you know, stop and start as you work your way around, and then grind it all out, and then weld over it again, and keep doing that until eventually you get all the holes filled. And this is why we're replacing the bottoms on these tanks and part of the side. Just a little bit of corrosion there. And it has a little life left, but I don't know how much. I gotta get Tristani rolling on another end. Well, that end is done. Actually, it's hard to cut.
Right?
I should try and measure up this bottom and get them rolling on that.